So I've got the base bar glued in place. So now I'm just gonna thin it down, shape it the way it needs to be shaped, and then also shape it this way, contour the base bar in there. And then we get to add in our poem. getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there. So I'll clean the rest of this up. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna seal the inside, this side with just a little bit of a coat of shellac. Just because the last time I did this poem in the Sitka violin, it was really tough to get the vinyl off. It really adhered to this spruce because it's kind of toothy. So I'm gonna try and smooth that out a little bit. But we're looking pretty. So just like with the Sitka violin, the Sitka viola is gonna have a poem in it from my daughter. And this is an excerpt of that poem because it's a little longer this time. And it's always tricky to work around the F-holes to make sure that this poem and stuff fits in there and still looks natural and right. But I cut it out of vinyl that I'm using as a stencil basically to put it on there, and then put printmaking ink across it and peel off the stencil. That way it doesn't affect the sound. There's no sticker or whatever in there, and it's permanent. This is very difficult to do on a curved surface because it curves in every direction. So you can't just write it out or print it very easily. I think this looks the most professional, and I always like the way it looks, versus having her handwrite it or something and mess up. Not her mess up, but have something go wrong. Now I'm using the back of my fingernail as a burnisher here because I learned with the violin, because I'd never done something like that before, that the vinyl, when it sat on there for a while, it adhered so tightly to the spruce that it almost pulled off fibers, which I don't want to do again, because I had to repair a couple of things that weren't major, but they just bothered me. So I'm just going to try and get the internal sides of the letters down and not push it on so hard everywhere. Gosh, that looks pretty. I wish I could just leave it in vinyl, but I would never want it to randomly drop a letter or do something weird. And I don't think vinyl will age for the next 150 years. Not that I plan to be around to see it, but who knows? You never know how long these things stay around. Imagine, hopefully, for a long time. Notice I missed a period. There we go. All right. So poems inside. So now I'm gonna get out some gloves and ink and get the lettering done. All right, so funny little story here. Man, it's like 5:30 in the morning. So you're the first person I've spoken to. Excuse me. About ready to tap this ink in there, and I had to laugh at my apron. This is a Takich press apron, and I have two of these, and it's a funny story, I guess, to me, but this one's 23 years old, the other one's a little older. I was a printmaker in a previous life. I still do printmaking stuff, but I went to college and graduate school for printmaking specifically. I was a stone lithographer, and excuse me. And so, but I remember being a student in college, and we got a new press at the University of Georgia, and when I was in graduate school, and we had to lift it with a crane through some weird stuff in through windows, and a double huge door opened up to get everything in, and because you couldn't get it through the halls and whatever else is. And it was a long, arduous thing. We had to move everything, and then we got it all in place and anchored it and put it all together. And I remember a professor there gave me this apron because at the time you could only get one of these aprons if you purchased a press. So if you saw someone with one of these aprons, they owned one of these Takich litho presses. And so it was kind of hilarious because this apron kind of cost, you know, $15,000 or something for this big press. And so when we finished putting all the stuff in, the professor was like, "Here, man, you can have the apron." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And so I used it forever. And now I believe Takich just sells the apron for, you know, $10. So it always gives me a laugh. So, all right, let's put some printmaking ink on here. All right, I've got all the lining glued in for the back side, so I'll let that cure overnight, and then I will be able to clean up the inside of all this stuff and attach the back. I'm still working on the inside of the back, the artwork that goes in there, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. So it feels huge. I know it's not, but it feels huge. Next to a violin, this feels really big. I had a violin friend of mine they call them chincellos. And I thought that was really clever. I like that, a chincello. But like I said, lining's all in. I'll level it all out. If you haven't seen this process, watch the Sitka violin videos. But yeah, we're moving right along. So I'm trying to wrap this up quickly. So let's move on.